This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Aboim. Chodesh Tov to all those who are here, to our viewers on Torah Anytime and anywhere they may be. With Hashem, we'll speak about Parashas Toldot and some fascinating Inyan de Yoima. We start with Parashas Toldot. Yitzchak Avinu davens, Rivka davens, and Baruch Hashem, after how many years? They didn't have kids? 20 years. 20 years. Wow. Avraham Avinu, we all agree, big tzaddik. How many years did he not have children? 99 years. Sarah Imenu gets married, according to many opinions, at the age of 25. Finally, at the age of 90, that's 65 years. She was barren. So she wasn't a tzaddikus? Obviously she was. So why doesn't HaKadosh Baruch Hu give them children? Rivka and Yitzchak, 20 years. Our forefathers are barren. Why? Asks the Gemara in Yevamos Samech Daled, why were our forefathers akurim? Why were they barren? Because, says the Gemara, HaKadosh Baruch Hu misave l'tfilason shel tzaddikim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu desires the prayers of tzaddikim. Asks the Shla HaKadosh, whoa, wait a second. There's something wrong with this equation. You're saying HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves the prayer of tzaddikim. So how come Yaakov Avinu gets married and the kids start coming out? Oh, wait a second. He's not a tzaddik? So you're saying HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want the prayer of Yaakov, or you're saying he's not a tzaddik? What are you saying? If HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves the prayer of tzaddikim, so you have to assume that he would like to hear Yaakov Avinu's prayer as well, so deny him having children. Or, if you say, well, listen, he's not a tzaddik, so then I understand. But we know that Yaakov Avinu is called B'chira Avos, the chosen one from all the three Avos. So he must be a tzaddik. Such a tzaddik that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't desire his prayer. The shaila is $1 billion. The answer? $5 billion. Shla HaKadosh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu desires the tefillah of tzaddikim, but only in Eretz Yisrael. Avraham Avinu, Sarah, Yitzchak and Rivka, they're in Eretz Yisrael. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants the prayer. Why? In Eretz Yisrael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu rules over this country without anybody in between. Chutz La'aretz, there's a minister in charge. HaKadosh Baruch Hu lets somebody else, a minister, a Yisar, run the place. When one davens in Chutz La'aretz, his prayer goes up, mixed up with a little filth of the Goyish minister, that I don't want. Not that you're not a tzaddik, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't desire the prayer of tzaddikim when they're Chutz La'aretz. With that explains the Shla HaKodesh, the discussion next week's parasha between Yaakov and Rachel. Rachel is jealous of her sister, and she says to Yaakov, Havali banim, give me children. Ve'im ayin, and if not, Mesa anochi, I'd rather die. Yaakov's response, Vayichaf Yaakov berachel. Why are you getting angry? Yaakov was angry at Rachel. Isn't that a legitimate request? I would like to have children. Why are you getting upset at her? Vayichaf Yaakov. And he says to her, Hatachas Eloikim anochi, asher mana mimech pri baten. Am I instead of God that denies you having children? Says the Shla HaKodesh. That's not what he said. Yaakov Avinu knows the Gemara in Yevamos Samech Daled, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to hear his tzaddikim pray. He knows that. So Rachel Avinu was telling him, listen, why don't you start davening? Obviously you're not davening enough because the HaKadosh Baruch Hu is denying me children. It's up to you. And he says to her, excuse me? Did you forget something? We're not in Eretz Yisrael. Hatachas Elokim anoichim. Am I directly under God? In other words, in Eretz Yisrael? We're in Chutz La'aretz. In Chutz La'aretz, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't desire the tefillah of tzaddikim. And therefore it must be that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't desire my prayer. It's not because of me. Asher mana mimech pri baten. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is denying you having children. You have to fix something. You have to do tshuva, whatever it is. The punishment for you has nothing to do with me. Says the Shla HaKodesh, so what's the eitzah? What should a person do when he's in Chutz La'aretz? He must do what the Gemara says, Bachos Daflam et Amud Aleph, and when he davens, he should visualize, I'm now landing in Ben Gurion. My tefillah goes all the way to Yerushalayim, it enters the Koisel, the Beis HaMikdash, Kodesh HaKodoshim, and from there it ascends up to Shar HaShamayim. That's what a person has to do. The Gemara says that in Bachos Daflam et Amud Aleph. Says the Shla HaKodesh, it's the only eitzah, because the Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't desire a tefillah which is mixed with some Chutz La'aretz minister. He doesn't want that. Which means, there's an eitzah. But it seems that he doesn't desire this type of prayer because Yaakov Avinu would do just that. So obviously it works for the tefillah. But that's not the tefillah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu desires. I think it's worth 5 billion, no? Shla Kodesh. If it wasn't a Shla Kodesh, it would Shla Kodesh has a lot of weight.
What's the significance of not giving them children versus the different son?
First of all, there were a lot of other nisyonis. Avraham Avinu had 10 of them. Yaakov Avinu, he complains to Paro, my life was full of trouble. A lot of nisyonis. So many of them. Yitzchak Avinu, everybody has nisyonis. Everybody has nisyonis.
What's unique about that?
It's not unique. It's an example that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives nisyonis. You should assume a person gets married in order to have successive generations following in his footsteps. That's our mission. So davka that, which you think is so normal, you get married, you have children. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, wait a second, I'd like to hear you pray. And some people mistakenly think, when they have a challenge, when they have a difficulty, a nisayon, you know what, I'll pray and then it will go away. Bali Abu will say, that's not the way it works. It's not, so now you have a problem, so you should daven. The problem came because the Kodesh Baruch Hu wants to hear you pray. So that's just an example of not having children, just like any other nisayon that one may be faced with. Vayiki zaken Yitzchak, perek Chav Zayin pasuk Aleph. Yitzchak became old. What happened to his eyes? Vatichena einav mir'ois. Yitzchak goes blind. What is that? Reward? Punishment? Good? Bad? A natural phenomenon? Why did Yitzchak Avinu become blind when he was old?
Because the tears of the mouth.
You're telling us Rashi. How do you know Rashi? You already prepared? Shnai mikra ve'echad tankum?
Second one I forgot.
2 more in Rashi. Rashi gives 3 reasons. He brings it from the Midrash. The wives of Esav used to bring incense for Avodah Zarah. And the smoke from that Avodah Zarah caused his eyes. Doesn't see anymore. He became blind. What is that? That sounds like a natural phenomenon. The smoke makes one blind. The other reason Rashi brings is what you said. The time of the Akedah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tore up the heavens. He opened them up. The angels were able to look down and say, wow, a father willing to shecht his son. They started crying. Those tears, just like a time release capsule, take effect 86 years later. The time of the Akedah is 37. Megillah Daf Yud Zayin Amud Aleph, we learned that he was 123 years old when it says he became old. And ultimately he dies at the age of 180. So for the last 57 years of his life, 86 years after the Akedah, the tears, the powerful tears of the angels cause him to go blind. What is that? Well, sounds like a natural phenomenon. A segula type of a natural phenomenon. The tears of angels make one go blind. Right? Third answer in Rashi. So Yaakov would be able to take the brachos. If Yitzchak sees, he knows exactly who's Esav and who's Yaakov, and he would bless the wrong person. So this sounds like a fantastic thing. It's a great favor for Yitzchak and for all of us. 3 reasons. Are there any more reasons?
On that last reason, if he wasn't blind, he would have seen that Esav was a Russia.
Good.
He would have given anyway to Yaakov.
Maybe, we'll see soon. Not so sure about that. He was in Kiruv. In Kiruv, you have to be nice, even to people who are not following your footsteps, hopefully that they're going to do tshuva. Are there any more reasons? We already brought 3. Only 14 more. Maybe see afterwards that there's more than 14. Well, let's go. 14 from the Midrashim, from Chazal. Tanchuma. The Shechina used to reside in the house of Yitzchak Avinu. Esav takes the wrong wives, and they do Avodah Zarah, and the Shechina was removed from Yitzchak. Yitzchak was so upset. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, you know what? I don't want my Yitzchak to be upset. He's such a tzaddik. You know what? I'm going to make him blind, so he's not going to see what is going on around him. Mimele, he's not going to be betzar. This sounds like a favor to Yitzchak. Esav is going to do what he wants to do because he has B'chira Chofshis. But Yitzchak should not be upset, and therefore he goes blind. Medrash Agada. Vayiki zaken Yitzchak melamed. This comes to teach you. Shehakas mesalek meor einav. Getting angry can make a person go blind. Because what does it say before that? Vatihiyena moras ruach Rivka and Yitzchak were upset at what they saw, the wives of Esav. Oh, they're upset. You get angry, you can go blind. That sounds like a natural phenomenon. Half a punishment. Not sure what it is. Wasn't he allowed to be upset here? Why was he upset? Because the wives of Esav are bringing incense to avoid the Zohar? Medrash Agadol. Yeah, but her, the Medoshim say, it affected her less. Because she grew up in a house, she knows exactly what avoid the Zohar is, it affects her a little less than Yitzchak. Medrash Agadol. Omar Rabbi Yehuda taught, why is it that Yitzchak became blind? Mipnei Kaso Shel Esav. The anger of Esav. Mikan Hamu. From here they said, anyone who leaves a Ben Rasha or a Talmid Rasha, ultimately he goes blind. That sounds like a punishment for Yitzchak. Vatichena Mir'os Einav. The Medrash Agadol continues. He lost his eyesight. What does it mean, Mir'os Einav? What can't he see? This was a great favor to Yitzchak. He shouldn't be able to see. He shouldn't be able to see into the future how Esav will behave and what will be his end. So Kodesh Baruch Hu denies him not to cause sorrow to the tzaddik. Tanchuma. Again, in Siman Ches, everything from Tanchuma and Siman Ches, Bereish Yisra is in Samechei and a few other places, and in Maseches Megillah. Daf Koach, Kaf Ches Amud Aleph, Chazal say, Esav is a Rasha? He's a Rasha. You're not allowed to look at the face of a Rasha. So he looked at Esav. If you use your eyes in the wrong way, guess what? You lose your eyesight. So this sounds like a punishment to Yitzchak. Bereish Yisra again in Tanchuma. The pasuk in Mishpatim says, "Hashochad ye'aver einei chachamim." One who takes bribe loses his eyesight. Yitzchak, as if it's Yitzchak Avinu, but Chazal say as if he took bribe. He kept justifying Esav Harasha. Oh, it's like taking bribe. Maybe he lost his eyesight. That sounds like a punishment to Yitzchak. Similarly, Sfono says this is similar to what happened to Eli HaKohen Gadol. He didn't protest when his kids were doing something wrong. And in Shmuel Aleph, Perek Gimel, Pasuk Yud Gimel, it says that he didn't protest. And then it says right after that, in Perek Dalet, Pasuk Tesvav, he lost his eyesight. Yitzchak Avinu saw something and he didn't protest. He lost his eyesight. It sounds like a punishment for Yitzchak. More, Megillah, Kafches Amud Aleph, and in Baba Kama, Sadi Gimel Amud Aleph. This has nothing to do with Yitzchak. Nothing to do. No punishment, no reward. Nothing to do with him. So why did he go blind? Chazal say, Al tihiye kilalas hediot kala benecha. Never let a curse of a simpleton be unimportant in your eyes. Avimelech cursed Sarah Imeinu utihiksus enayim veniskayem bezara. Avimelech's curse that somebody in your family will lose your eyesight wasn't fulfilled in Sarah. It was fulfilled by her son Yitzchak. Nothing to do with Yitzchak. Bereish Yisra. The time of the Akedah, Yitzchak Avinu peeked and saw the Shechina. Oh, Lo yirani ha'adam v'chai. You can't see the Shechina and stay around. So Kodesh Baruch Hu says, what do I do now? I have to kill Yitzchak. I don't want to kill him. If I do, Avrom, I love Avrom. He's going to be so upset. You know what? When he becomes old, we'll make him blind. Sounds like half a punishment. Not sure what that is. Rashbam. Rabbeinu Bechaye, they say, it's a natural phenomenon. The pasuk explains why he goes blind. Vayiki zaken Yitzchak, natural wear and tear of the eyes. Vatichen einav miros, he became blind. What are you so surprised? He's old. The Rashbam brings, and Rabbeinu Bechaye, we find it in Sefer Shmuel. Ve'einav hechelu kaos, you lose your eyes when you get older. Pashas Vayechi, ve'einei Yisrael kavdu, and Yaakov Avinu loses his eyesight. Why? The pasuk says, Mizoken. Because he's old. Why are you surprised? Achia Ashiloini in Melachim Aleph says the same thing. He became old, so he lost his eyesight. And this Rashbam and Rabbeinu Bechaye sounds like a surprising opinion, but it's already brought in Tanchuma. In Tanchuma and Parashas Miketz, the Medrash says, Tzarich Adam sheyispalel al ziknusoi. A person always, start now, daven that when he is old, he doesn't lose his eyesight, and that his mouth should be able to continue to chew, I guess not to lose all his teeth. And that his legs, he'll be able to continue walking on his legs. Why? Shebizman sheyazkin. When a person becomes old, hakol mistalek mimeno. He can lose it all. Natural wear and tear. It sounds like a natural phenomenon. Chiddush. There's something else there. Al tashlichenu le'es zikna. Don't forsake us when we are old. We think, okay, when I'm 95, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, give me koyach to continue. So how can a 15-year-old, a 25-year-old have kavanah when he's saying that? It's not shaykh to me. I'll say it when I'm 75. This is based on a pasuk in Tehillim. Think Tehillim Ayin Aleph. Unbelievable Rashi. Unbelievable Rashi. Rashi is not a darshan. Rashi is a pashtan. Rashi explains to you what the pasuk says. David HaMelech says, "Not al tashlicheni le'es zikna when I am old in age. Don't forsake me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When I am saturated with averos, like an old person is saturated with years. An old person has a lot of years behind him. I have a lot of averos. So that applies even to a 15 or 25-year-old, and they can also have kavanah when they say it. It's Rashi. Comes the Ritva in Yuma, Kaf Ches Amud Beis, and the Maharsha as well. And they go against the Rashbam and Rabbeinu Bechaye. You're saying it's a natural phenomenon? No. Natural wear and tear of the eye. The Ritva says it can be. In Yuma Kaf Ches Amud Beis over there, the Gemara says, Yitzchak Zaken v'yoshev b'yeshiva. Zaken doesn't refer to age. Chazal say Zaken ze shekana chokhma. Yitzchak is a scholar. He sits and learns all day long. Asks the Ritva, if Vayhiki Zaken Yitzchak is literal, he became old and therefore he became blind, how come Chazal say Zaken refers to his wisdom? He sits and listens to Shiva. He can be 25. You can be a Zaken when you're 25 if you know Torah, if you're a Talmid Chochem. So how do you know Zaken is Zeshekana Chokhmah? The pasuk continues, Vatichena einav mirois. It seems to say that he was old. So who told Chazal? Says the Ritva, Chas v'sholom to say, Chas v'sholom, that he became blind because he was old. Because the pasuk says, V'koivi Hashem yachalifu koyach. If you trust the Kodesh Baruch Hu, you cling to Him, you're rejuvenated. You have koyach even when you are old. So why is it that he became old? And he says, because in Sanhedrin Chafaf Amud Beis we learn, Torah mateshes koicho shel Adam. When you learn with such intensity, it weakens you. So it's not because he was old, it's because intense learning, and that can happen even in a younger age.
How come in the
Kezaken veragil. That means not old age. Zaken veragil, that he has experience. He's been doing it for many years, not literally that he has to be old. In the Kinos, this is our 15th reason now. In the Kinos, the Tisha B'Av, Kina 14, it says that Avraham Avinu, the time of the Akedah, revealed to Yitzchak when he was already on the Mizbeach, tied up. Do you know? Your seed, Avraham Avinu says to Yitzchak, which is also my seed, he says about himself, in the future will go to Galus. They will be led naked. They will be taken to some places. Shh, don't ask. And Yitzchak Avinu was so upset. And he cried. And because of those tears, he went blind. Is that a punishment? Is that a reward? What is that? Natural phenomenon? Tears. I guess tears not only of angels, human tears can also make one go blind. 16th answer. Bereshis Rabbah, Rabbi Bechaye brings it. Moiridik. If Yitzchak Avinu wouldn't be blind, he would be all the time going outside, going to the marketplace, going to the Beis Medrash, and people would point, oh, you know who this guy is? That's the father Esav Harasha. You know who this guy is? That's, oh, Esav Harasha's father, stay away from this guy. Would be so upsetting. Oh, terrible thing to Yitzchak. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you know what? We're going to make you blind. A blind person, especially back then, doesn't leave the house. He doesn't leave the house. He doesn't have to suffer this humiliation. 17th answer. Reishis Rabbah, Samechei. Oistes. Omar Reb Yehuda Bar Simon. Until the time of Avraham Avinu, there was no such thing as looking old. You can be very old, but you didn't look old. And Avraham Avinu says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you know, when I go with Yitzchak's places, people don't know who's whom. People don't know that I'm the father, and he is the son. They don't know who to give honor to. Not because I'm looking for honor, it's just not right. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what do you say? Why don't we make people look old when they get a certain age? HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, shh, chayecha, that's a great thing that you're saying. Uvecha ani maschil, you're going to be the first one. That's why until the beginning of Sefer Bereshis, until now, it never said, Vahi ki zaken, Avraham zaken baba yamim. First time we meet this word zaken is about Avraham, because you asked for it, you got it. The Medrash continues. Until the time of Yitzchak, there was no Yisurim, no such thing as afflictions, no Yisurim. And Yitzchak Avinu says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you know, if a person leaves this world without a little Yisurim before, it's not going to be good. strict judgment he's going to encounter. It's not so good. But if he has some Yisurim before, when he leaves this world, he's clean. He can go immediately to a very good place. What do you say about that? Good idea? And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, shh, I like it. Chayecha becha ani maschil. You're going to be the first one. It's really a good idea. And therefore he became blind. The Medrash continues that Yaakov Avinu asked that there should be some sickness in the world, because until the time of Yaakov Avinu, nobody got sick. When the time came, he sneezed and his soul departed. He just expired. And that's why we say, Gesundheit, Librius, to your health, whatever language it is, because until that time, when people would go out in the marketplace, they would sneeze, that's it. Bye-bye. In Mele, we say, to your health. So Kodesh Baruch Hu said to Yaakov Avinu, really is a great idea to become sick before one dies, so he can do some introspection, so he can command his household members what to do after his demise. And therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Yaakov, you know what? I think it's a great idea. And we're going to start with you. Parshas Vayechi. Pasuk says, Yaakov became old, he became sick. Mimele, according to this, Yitzchak Avinu brought blindness on himself, because he says, can we have some suffering in this world? And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, yes, and you're going to be the first one. Pilei play. We got the 17 different reasons, and each one of them is different. Some of them imply it's just how it happened. Some of them seems like a natural phenomenon. Some of them viewed as a reward, a great punishment, a benefit for Yitzchak, for his seed. Any more reasons? Only 3 more.
The Gemara describes how some Kanaim wanted not to see.
Yeah. Rav Sheshes, according to Seder HaDoros, and according to Shem HaGedolim in the Chidah, he brought it on his own. He became blind. He stayed in a closed room for 40 days, room made out of marble. And when he came out, the sun hits him. He became blind. Why? He didn't want to have nisyonis. Rav Sheshes. Rav Yosef as well, I think. Some opinions bring it according to regarding Rav Yosef as well. So Rav Yosef and Rav Sheshes that potentially brought it on themselves for didn't want to encounter any nisyonis shmiras ha'inayim. Masya ben Charash. But normally we don't ask for it. And in fact, every single morning we say, Al tevi'enu leidei nisayon. We don't want to have any nisyonis. Not losing the eyesight, because we want to be able to continue looking in the Gemara. And not shmiras ha'inayim. We don't want any nisyonis. If they come, we accept them with love.
Do we have from that, though, that, at least in there in Madrega, that seeing is something they found to be negative?
Yeah, but there was somebody even bigger than them. For example, his name is Moshe Rabbeinu. Heard of him? A little bigger. He didn't do this. So even if it is fitting for somebody at a high level, if your name is Rav Sheshes or Rav Yosef, no one else did it. None of the other Tanaim. Not before, not after. Not the Nevi'im. Not Moshe Rabbeinu. Not the Avos HaKadoshim. So that's not the Hanhaga that we are seeking.
Because by the Torah it says, no.
Right. Even when he's 120 years old, on the day that he died. 3 more reasons. Oznaim LaTorah. We mentioned that the tears of the angels fell into the eyes of Yitzchak. Sounds, doesn't sound so good. Angels! Don't you know that your tears have unbelievable power and they can cause humans to go blind? Be careful! Why don't you put your hands? Close your eyes! Be a little more careful. Says the Oznaim LaTorah, the angels did a great service for Yitzchak. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as if, wanted to kill him. But in Adorim Samech Dalet, we learn that a blind person is counted as if he is dead. Mimele Yitzchak, as if he is dead, but he can continue to live for another 57 years. Based on this reason, perhaps we can say another reason. The Medrash says in Bereshis Rabbah, Parsha Nun Vav. No, that's how I remember it. No, Parsha Nun Vav, Ois Zayin. The time of the Akedah, the angel says to Avraham, stop. And Avraham Avinu says, I shouldn't shecht him? And the angel says no. So Avraham Avinu says, okay, so can I choke him? I want to choke him. You say no shechting with a knife, fine. Al tishlach yad chalanar, don't do it. What about just spilling a little blood out of Yitzchak? That's what Avraham Avinu asked the Malach. And the Malach says, Al ta'as lo meuma. And the Bible says, Al ta'as lo mum. Don't make him have a blemish. Don't touch him. You see from here that Avraham Avinu really wanted to shecht him. He wanted to kill him. The pasuk we all say every morning, Yeretzon Yereav Yaseh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu fulfills the will of his tzaddikim, of his Yereim. Moed Katan Yud Ches. Bris Krusal Lasvatayim. in Ksubis Samech Beis Amud Beis and other places. When an Adam Gadol says something, it makes a lot of noise upstairs. You can actually create things with your words, even if you didn't intend it. Avraham Avinu says, I want to shacht him. So Kodesh Baruch Hu says, but I want Yitzchak to continue to live. But you're Avraham Avinu and you say something, you know what, we're going to fulfill it. But we're not going to kill him. We're just going to make him blind. And in Samech Dalet we learn that a blind person is counted as if he is dead. Mimela Kodesh Baruch Hu fulfilled the ways of that tzaddikim, Avraham Avinu, without spilling any blood.
So isn't he going to feel guilt? The fact that through him,
Shgaga hayoitzes mipi hashalit. Bris krusa lasfatayim. Be careful with what comes out of your mouth. We have all kinds of maisim in the Gemara that Atana said something about his son, and he died as a result. A few maisim. Modkat and Yudches, Ksubis Samech Beis, and other places.
Avraham Avinu didn't actually see. He wasn't alive when it happened.
What's that? You don't have to see. You don't have to see. When you say something, it works in the upper worlds. The Kovetz Shiurim over there in Ksubis Samech Beis explains that when you say something, whether you see it or not, it creates a physical manifestation of your words. Whether you see it or not, whether it happens tomorrow or in 57 years from now, 86 years from now. But your words are very powerful. And the greater of a tzaddik you are, the more powerful your words are. 20th answer. Everybody said we're exposing 20 vision-vanquishing methods. It's unbelievable. 20 vision-vanquishing methods, according to Chazal. The Oznaim LaTorah, which we brought, brings another idea. He says, wait a second. Malachim, why can't you be more careful? You know exactly what you're doing. You're crying, it's as if it's a chesed. Oh, we feel sad. Avraham is about to shecht Yitzchak. So be more careful. He brings a Gemara. Pele of a Gemara. Shabbos Peites Amud Beis, the Gemara tells us a story. Le'asid Lavo in the future. Avraham Avinu goes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, goes to Avraham Avinu. And he says to him, Banecha chatuli, your sons have sinned to me. And Avraham Avinu says, really? Yimachu al kedusha shemecha, erase them, the sanctity of your name. Whew. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, oh, that's kind of harsh. You know what? The old man is not helping me. I'll go to his grandson. He had Sa'ar Gidul Banim. Maybe he'll be able to help. Yaakov, same language. Banecha chatuli, your sons have sinned to me. And Yaakov responds, copying his grandfather Avraham, Yimachu al kedushas shemecha, let them be erased on the sanctity of your name. So Kodesh Baruch Hu says, Lo besabe eitza v'lo bet'altidikei tama. It doesn't work. The grandson, the grandfather, they're not helping me. I'm going to go to Yitzchak. Yitzchak, Banecha chatuli, your sons have sinned to me. And Yitzchak said, whoa, wait a second. You're calling them my sons? Didn't you say after Har Sinai, when they said Na'aseh v'nishma, you said B'ni v'choiri? They're my sons. So now you're calling them my sons. And wait a second, let's do some math. Yemesh noseinu b'hem. A person lives 70 years, Shivim Shana. You don't punish in Beis Din Shel Mala up to the age of 20. So we're only talking about 50 years, Ribono Shel Olam. And in those 50 years, 25 years, one sleeps. He doesn't sin when he sleeps. 25 years. Out of 25 years, half of them a person spends in the bathroom. He eats. He davens. He doesn't sin then. So we're only talking about 12 and a half years. You can't bear 12 and a half years, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if you can't, you know what? Half on me and half on you. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu accepts. Klal Yisrael looks at Yitzchak and says, wow, Ato Avinu, you are, wow, what you did for us, you saved the day. First of all, it's a very strange Gemara. What does that mean? This is the same Avraham Avinu that davened for whom? For Sodom! The Reshaim! Not his family members, not his seed. And here, forget about that. Pele. So some explain, when Avraham Avinu said Yimachu, he didn't mean Klal Yisrael should be erased. Yimachu erased the sins, and Mimele is going to be a Kiddush Hashem. Rashi and Sefer Hasidim understood literally. Yimachu, when people are erased, going to be punished and killed because they transgress your will, it'll be a Kiddush Hashem. But others explain, no. Yimachu avoinos, the sins will be erased. Mimele is going to be a Kiddush Hashem. The Kodesh Baruch Hu is Melech Moichel V'Soleach. Others explain, the Kodesh Baruch Hu says of Avraham Avinu, you think they're so bad? I'm telling you. Test them. You will see that everyone in Klal Yisrael is willing to jump into the fire for you. Yimachu, each one of them is willing to die in Kiddush Hashem. You know why? Kiddush Hashemecha. That's what Avraham Avinu is saying. But the Pashtus, that's not what it means. I thought maybe a different way. Avraham Avinu, he realizes, the Kodesh Baruch Hu says, it's really, really bad down there. They're doing what? I have to kill them. So Avraham Avinu says to Kodesh Baruch Hu, you know what? You got to kill him? Fine. Do what you need to do. But do me a favor. Let them die in Kiddush Hashem. Don't let them die as a result of a heart attack, cancer, a car accident. It's a waste. If a person is a Rasha and he dies like that, where does he go? To a very hot place. But these are my children. So if they have to go, let them die in Kiddush Hashem. If they die in the Kiddush Hashem, even if it was a Rasha, where does he go? To the highest of highs. He becomes a tzaddik. So Kodesh Baruch Hu, please, Avraham Avinu beseeches on our behalf. Make sure, because he never left the midah of chesed. But the pashtus is like what Rashi and Sefer Hasidim explain. Asks the Yosdaim LaTorah, Avraham Avinu, what happened to you? And why is it that HaKadosh Baruch Hu willing to listen to what Yitzchak Avinu says, to that calculation, and save the day, instead of listening to Avraham and Yaakov? Says the Yosdaim LaTorah, this is talking le'asid level, in the time where redemption has to come. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to redeem Klal Yisrael. So he looks at Avraham and he says, sorry, you can't really say anything, because you're the one who expelled Yishmael from your house. You're the one who kicked out the Bnei Pilagshim, because you wanted to protect Yitzchak. He looks at Yaakov and he says, you're the one who rebuked the tribes when he say, Hasiru es Elohei Anechar asher bekir bechem. You were very, very strict when it came to chinuch. You cursed Shimon and Levi. You took away Reuven's firstborn's rights. You're very strict with the children. Only Yitzchak was willing to see Esav and say, stay here with us. No, don't leave, stay here. So it's only right that Yitzchak continues with that theme, and it's only right that HaKadosh Baruch Hu listens dafku to the prayer of Yitzchak. Why was it possible for Yitzchak to overlook what Esav is doing? Because he became blind. So Lemaise, it wasn't devastating angels. These were Malachei Rachamim, that their tears, and they made sure that tears are going to fall into Yitzchak's eyes. In order for 86 years later, Yitzchak will go blind and he won't be able to see the wrongdoings of Esav, so he can beseech on our behalf to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So you have 20 different methods how one can potentially lose his eyes. We should all keep our eyesight until at least 120. Now, Rabbi is saying, this Maise started 2 months ago, Yom Kippur. This Maise ended last week, Tuesday. You never heard a Maise like this. There's a Rav up north. I'm not going to tell you the yeshuv, small yeshuv, not a very affluent one, where they sell in the shul the aliyos on Yom Kippur. They do this every year. There's a guy who's been buying maftir yoina for many years. I think 15 years, he said. This guy believes that it's a segula for Parnasa. His whole Parnasa throughout the year is dependent on this maftir yoina, and therefore he's always, and everybody knows it. This is a not very affluent place. 500 shekels. Oh, we're speaking English. Let's turn it to dollars. Sounds better. $500 maftir yoina. Zachaloi. 15 years been going on. This year in Yom Kippur, 2 months ago, there's a guy who came to the shul, a rich guy. He doesn't usually daven there. Never davens there in Yom Kippur. They start the sale. Maftir yoina, 100 shekels. And everybody participates. They know ultimately it's going to go to this guy. It's very, very important to him. 150, 200, 250, 300. And we get to 500. The guy who always buys it says 500. And the rich guy from behind says 501. So the guy that it's his, he has a chazaka, says 600. The rich guy says 650. 700. The rich guy says 1500. The guy says 1500. 1501. The rich guy says 1502. The guy says 1600. And the rich guy says 3000. 3,000 is a lot of money for this guy. But his whole parnasa, he feels, is dependent on this. So he says 3,500. He never spent in his life 3,500. The guy says 3,600. And everybody in shul looks and says, what chutzpah? It's this guy. He has a chazaka for so many years. Why are you doing this? He says, what do you mean? If it's a sale, it's open to all. It's a sale, right? What is it, fake? The Rav sees what's going on. He feels terrible for the guy. You want to cause tsar to a yid on Yom Kippur? Obviously, it's very important. But why is it so important to you? He doesn't let go. 4,000, 45, $5,000. When they reach $6,000, the guy usually, I'm out of the game. Finished. The rich guy gets it for $6,000. And on Yom Kippur, the guy who normally used to get the aliyah looks like in the middle of Tisha B'Av. He is so upset. He's distraught, mamish. The Rav feels terrible for the guy. He has a chazaka. You're causing tsar on Yom Kippur, but he starts thinking, how do you judge him favorably? Well, maybe he's missing 100 brachos a day. I don't know. Maybe he had come out of a dream last night that he has to get maftu yanam. It's really nice, not nice, but what can you do? The guy who bought the aliyah goes over to the person whom he fought with, and he says to him, I want to tell you something. Even if I want to take maftu yonah, I can't. I'm a Levi. You know why I bought it? I bought it to give it to you. But not free of charge. I want to offer you a business deal. He says, business? Business is very nice. Not on Yom Kippur. He said, no. This type of business we can do on Yom Kippur. In fact, it's a mitzvah. What do you say? Look, I noticed that you speak in the middle of davening. It hurts me. I want to give you maftu yoina for free. But stop speaking in the middle of davening. No more talking. That's my condition. Do you want it? And the guy says, I can get maftu yoina? Sure. He gives him maftu yoina. He gets the aliyah and he committed. I'm not going to speak. Miki Amcha Yisrael. Moyadik, no? Ad kan hakofe aleph. Now comes hakofe beis. Sit tight. Last week, Tuesday. This person who committed, I'm never going to speak again, goes over to the house of the rich guy, knocks on the door. Shalom Aleichem. He gives him an envelope with $6,000. And he says, I regret the deal. Impossible for me not to speak in the middle of davening. I can't do it. It's too hard. Here's your money back. I want to cancel the deal. He says, what do you mean? What do you mean cancel the deal? We had a condition. We had a deal. You committed. I gave you the aliyah. So the guy says to him, listen, I don't even think we have ever had a deal. What does it mean? A spiritual zchut of not speaking in the middle of davening is something that's sellable? Well, what does that mean? I don't think we ever had a deal. But I don't want you to feel bad because ultimately you gave me the aliyah. Here's your money back. And the rich guy says, you can't do that. You can't go back on a deal. You got the aliyah. You committed to something. We shook hands. It's a deal. A deal is a deal. You can't continue to talk. Sure. This happened last Tuesday. The Rav is confused. What do you do when you're confused? You go to the Dayanim Mumchim who are sitting in Me'amlo as an answer. Rabbi say, Shimula Dayanim Mumchim, what do you do? Can you cancel the deal or not? I say, shh. Miki Amcha Yisrael. The both directions.
Yes, there was not the clause money back guarantee.
There was a what?
There was not the clause on the contract money back guarantee.
First of all, the guy says there was never a deal to begin with. It's not a sellable item. What condition is this? It's a kinyan, a spiritual kinyan. You're buying or you're selling something which has to do with me not talking. What does that mean? It's not an item. It's not a cup that you can sell. It's not a neder. It's a business deal. You did this as a transaction. This transaction doesn't kick in.
Didn't stipulate what would happen if he did speak.
Correct, and therefore he made a condition. Do you want this? I'll give it to you. Condition: stop talking in shul.
If both sides, when it comes to
Am I not allowed to make a condition with you and give it to you? When you go to the store, they always make a condition with you. First of all, he says it's not a sellable item. And even if it is, I regret. I made a mistake. It's mekachtos. I had no idea how difficult it is.
What's not sellable?
The spiritual zchut of me not talking in the middle of davening. Well, what does that mean, selling it?
It's a fact. I asked somebody to, pay a guy $10 if he goes and picks up a piece of garbage, or if he doesn't pick it up. It's a pula that you got. It's a devam legit.
So you're hiring him as your worker. I'm going to pay you for not speaking. That means I'm my worker, but this is not what you did. You did a transaction. I'm selling you something. In return, I'm getting something which is not really something. What does it mean? I'm not going to speak.
I'll pay a guy to be quiet for 1 hour. If he's quiet for 1 hour, I'll give him $10 to be quiet.
So getting back to
I have a different question.
I want to go to
I have a different question. I'm a businessman. I saw this aliyah being sold for 500 shekels. Can I buy this 500 shekels and sell it to you for 600? Can I sell an aliyah?
So the aliyah or the...
Yes.
Both.
Why Why not?
Why not? Is it a sellable item? Aliyah, you can make money on something that doesn't belong to you. It belongs to us, the tzibur. And the tzibur agrees that we should sell aliyos. But it's not yours. It's the tzibur's. What does that mean that you're selling it? Does it even start? What's that? He bought the aliyah. Can you sell an aliyah that you acquired? You can gift it. Can you sell it? Can you make money on an aliyah? Why not? Because the Oila Stamid doesn't like it. Machlokes. The Oila Stamid says you cannot sell an aliyah. The reason is it doesn't belong to you. You don't get money. You don't make money from tzedakah. It belongs to the shul. You're making money on tzedakah. It belongs to the kahal. It belongs to the tzibur. Oila Stamid doesn't like it. But Shiara Knesset Agdola says, why not? What's the problem? What's the problem? Rabbi Yoshi says, Meikar Adin, you can sell aliyah. You can sell it. It belongs to you. So as far as selling, I'm not so sure there's a problem. But even if there is a problem selling, I don't think it's a problem. Because he didn't sell it to him. Ma'asim shebechol yom. It always happens. People buy an aliyah and they honor their friend. You do it all the time. You honor your father, your son, your chavrusa, wherever you want, the rav. I'm gifting it. It's mine. I'm not making money here. I'm gifting it to someone else. But I'm doing it with a condition. We have a rule. Kol t'nai shebemamon, any condition that I make regarding monetary issues works. Even if it's against the Torah. When both parties agree, it becomes valid. So what did the rich guy do? He said, I'm giving you a gift which belongs to me. It belongs to me, I just bought it. One condition, don't speak. The Toivas Hana that goes along with the Aliyah belongs to me. So I can give it to you. And therefore, this guy who claims it never even started this time must be rejected. More than that. If the rich guy wants to say, okay, fine, let's cancel the deal, he's not allowed to. You know what he's doing if he's going to say, okay, let's cancel the deal? You're giving him permission to speak in shul. Who gave you permission to give people permission to speak in shul? Is he not Jewish? Just like you? And Jewish people are not allowed to speak in shul. Shulchan Aruch, Orach Chaim, Siman Kuf Chaf Daled, Seif Zayin, the Mechaber says. If somebody speaks in the middle of Chazal, it's a shatz. Gadol avoino minesoy. The Shulchan Aruch never speaks like this. His sin is too great to bear. The Shulchan Aruch didn't say this about Chilul Shabbos or anything else. You speak in the middle of Shmoneh Esrei. Your sin is too great to bear. The goyarin bo, and we yell at him publicly and embarrass him. Where do we ever find such a thing? So now you want to give him permission? No, it's fine. You can go back and speak. Chas v'shalom. He's not allowed to do this. And the whole thing is ridiculous. If he wants the maftir yoina for a zgula for parnasa, what's the source to say maftir yoina is a zgula for parnasa? The answer is there is no source. There is no source. Somebody said it 100 years ago, 200 years ago. A tzaddik said it. Okay, very good. We don't have earlier sources. But guess what? Not speaking in davening is a zgula for parnasa, and we have heavy duty sources. We'll share soon. And speaking in the middle of davening can destroy your parnasa. We have sources for that as well. Abu Dham, one of the Rishonim. The Abu Dham says, when you go to daven Shmoneh Esrei, how many brachos are actually in Shmoneh Esrei? 19. Shachis, Mincha, Ma'ariv. 19 times 3? 57? Gematria? Zan. Zayin Nun, 57. Zan sustains. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will sustain you because of your prayers. More than that, says the Abu Dham, when you go daven in shul and you do everything right, you daven your private Shmoneh Esrei. 19 brachos? Good. Then you listen to the chazan. We have a rule. Shomea ke'oine. It's as if you said it. 19 times 2? 19 times 2? 38. What about brachos nun gimel amud beis? That the one who says amen is greater than the one who said it. So when you listen to the chazan and you respond with amen, it's as if you said another 19. 19 times 3, the same 57 from before. When you daven right, when you come to shul, and you don't speak, says the Abu Dham, you listen to the chazan. It's as if in one prayer, in one shachis, in one mincha, you actually daven 57 brachos. 57 is zan umefarnes, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will sustain you because of that. So not speaking and davening is a sgula, the greatest sgula in the world, for parnasa. Why do you need the maftir yoina? Just continue with the deal and don't speak in the middle of davening. The Imre Yemes explains what the pasuk means in Parshas Beshalach. Hashem yilachem lachem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will fight for you, Ve'atem tacharishon. Shh, be silent. Says the Imres. When should I be silent? I'm never allowed to speak? In davening. You want HaKadosh Baruch Hu to fight for you? Ve'atem tacharishon, be silent. Comes the Chassam Sofer, and he has a different take. What does it mean, Hashem yilachem? What does it mean, the word yilachem? Will fight, right? That's what we always thought. Some Sofer says it's another meaning as well. Pasuk in Mishlei, Perek Chav Gimel, Pasuk Aleph. Kisei shev lilchom, when you'll sit to fight. Rashi says, Kisei shev le'echol, when you go to eat. In other words, says that some Sofer has to do with parnasa. You want lechem? You want to have parnasa? Hashem yilachem lachem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give you parnasa. How? Va'atem tacharishon, be silent. In davening, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take care of your parnasa. Some Sofer. The main part of parnasa comes because of davening. Comes the rokeach. Rokeach is the rishon. Not just the rishon. The biggest mekubal. And the rokeach says, one who speaks in shul, he is called a bad neighbor. Beis HaKnesses is a mini Beis Mikdash. One who speaks there is actually trespassing. You go into the borders of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It says his domain. You're causing trespassing. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is upset, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu turns around from that person, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu says a pasuk, Madua basi ve'en ish, karasi ve'en oine. Why did I come here? These are not the people that I want. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, why did you come here? Mi bikesh zos mimcha, remos chatzerai. You're destroying this place. Avodas Yisrael, Magid Mikudin on Perek Hey and Avois, Mishnah Hey, and the Yah was Dvash, carries a lot of weight. They both say, one who speaks in the middle of davening, not only is his own tefillah not accepted, he causes the tefillah of anybody else in shul not to be accepted. But why is that? That's not fair. Reuven is speaking, so my tefillah should not be heard? What's the connection? I think back when they wrote it, the Yah was Dvash, Avodas Yisrael, it was very hard to understand. Today, very easy to understand. Anybody here not use Waze? When you drive, good, we only have one person. But most people, you're familiar with Waze, right? The way it works. Today, the way Waze works, you don't have to type. It's dangerous in the middle of driving. You speak to it. You speak to Waze, and you say, okay, my destination is, I'd like to go to this and this street. He takes you there. But what if you're saying, I'd like to go here and here, but people in the background, are speaking. They're yelling, they're singing, they're arguing, they're talking about the stock market, politics, whatever it is. I don't know where this is going to take you. I don't know what he's going to hear, and I don't know what he's going to take you. Mainly, your speaking affects somebody else. Can it be a person sitting on a boat, and he drills a hole right under him, and everybody starts yelling, what are you doing? What are you doing? He says, what is it your business? It's only where I'm sitting. What do you care? We're sitting in the same boat together. You're causing all of us to drown. I think the pashtus, the way to understand it, why is it that one's prayer can destroy everybody else's prayer? Because if people are sitting in shul and they don't protest, it means they're comfortable with this. It doesn't bother them. So mimele, they become partners to the one who speaks. If you're not bothered by it, it's as if you had a chance, you would speak as well. So what's the difference? So just like his tefillah is not accepted, mida keneged mida, the person who's not protesting, and that's all the people in the shul, their tefillah is not accepted as well. If this is not harsh enough, comes the Zohar HaKodesh. In Tuma, Daf Kuf Lamed Aleph Amud Beis, listen to a language of the Zohar. One who speaks in the shul, in davening. Oilo, woe to him, shemare pirud. He shows separation. And lo chelek be'elokei Yisrael, he doesn't have a share with the God of Israel. Because he is saying, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not here. I'm not afraid of him. This is not really his house. I can do whatever I want. It's my house. Ve'al zeh mishak v'misrael bagalos. Says the Zohar, for this, the Geula is delayed. Frightening. You know, sometimes you see so many people speaking in shul that stock market, politics, yesterday's scores, whatever it is. Is there any way to judge him favorably? What would Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Berditchev do? If he was in the shul like this, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Berditchev, the great advocate for Klal Yisrael, what would he say? I think Rabbi Levi Yitzchak would lift his eyes, say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, look at these beloved children here. What tzaddikim? Look, they even turned Shuk Machne Yehuda into a shul. This can't be a shul. It's got to be that we're in the middle of the marketplace, and they turned even this. They daven wherever they are. Ah, what tzaddikim. Because there is no other way to judge them favorably. It's good to know what the Chafetz Chaim writes. Chafetz Chaim writes that obviously we should never speak in davening, but it's more severe to do so on Shabbos. Chafetz Chaim explains in Siman Kuf Nun Aleph, there is more of Hashras Shechina in the shul on Shabbos. So it's more disrespectful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu when one speaks in shul on Shabbos. Kavayasha, heavyweight. He brings those people who speak in shul. They cause the Shechina to be removed from Klal Yisrael. And he says it's because of that we see many shuls that have been destroyed. The Mishnah Berurah brings this in Siman Kuf Chaf Daled, Seif Chaf Zayin, in the name of the Kolbo. Kolbo is Rishonim. That if somebody speaks in the middle of Chazaras Hashatz, it can destroy the shul. Yaros Dvash, in Chelek Aleph, Drush Tes writes that in the city of Prague, there are the most beautiful shuls in the world, and they were destroyed because people spoke in the middle of davening. Zohar HaKodesh. Tikunei HaZohar, Tikun Yudches. Rosh Hashanah, we all know 3 books are open. Tzadikim, Beinonim, and Rashoim. Asks Reb Shimon Bar Yochai in the Zohar HaKodesh, who are those people who are written in the book of Rashoim? Reb Shimon Bar Yochai says, those who disgrace the honor of the Shechina and speak in the middle of davening. The Tzadikim's prayers go into the chamber. The Beinonim's prayers stay outside. But those people who speak in the middle of davening, they are inscribed at the book of Rashoim. Noida B'Yehuda. We just started today. Chodesh Kislev. Chanukah is coming. Noida B'Yehuda in Drushei Yatzlach on Chanukah writes, these days, he's speaking about Chanukah, we have to rectify those things that caused the Shechina to be removed from Klal Yisrael. Because this was the intention of the Greeks. They wanted to remove the Shechina from Klal Yisrael. You don't have a person who rebels against the Kodesh Baruch Hu more so than a person who speaks in the middle of davening and impurifies the holy air, and it's just like the Greeks that did the same to the Mizbeach and put a statue in the sanctuary. Mamish frightening. Yesh Noichalim. Who's the Yesh Noichalim? The son of the Shla HaKodesh. And he writes, Mikol ha'averos, from all the averos, and there's many of them. Lo ra'isi laroa, I didn't see anything as bad as somebody who speaks in shul. Why? Why is it so bad? He says everything else, stealing, eating the wrong foods, arayos, there's a yetzer. There's earthly desires, a passion for something, a taiva, you want to have it. But the only taiva to speak in the middle of shul is that you want to rebel against the Kodesh Baruch Hu. He says 3 wrong things about this. First of all, you sin and you cause others to sin because you can't sin. You can't speak if no one else listens to you. You'll be quiet if nobody listens. So you sin and you cause others to sin. And more than that, there is a merida, it's rebellion against the Kodesh Baruch Hu, and it's disrespectful, contemptuous to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Chadrei beten, who's that? The Chido. He writes, if a baby does what he needs to do in the bathroom in the middle of shul, people are going to start yelling, what are you doing, bringing this filth into the base medrash? Get out of here, take your kid out. Says the Chido, and one who speaks in shul, it's much worse. Because the pasuk says, "V'lo yire becha ervas davar." El Chazal darshan ervas dibur. It's called an erva, something that cannot be seen, and you're bringing this into the shul. V'chida again, this time in Pesach Enaim, and the Kaf HaChaim brings him. One who speaks davening, it would be better for him not to come to shul. And the Satan goes up there, and he's the prosecuting agent, and he says to Kodesh Baruch Hu, what? He was so busy the whole day he couldn't speak, so he had to wait until he comes to shul? Imagine, Chafetz Chaim comes to shul. It's a Tuesday afternoon, regular mincha, in the middle of the winter, not Rosh Hashanah, and not Yom Kippur. Stam, a regular boring Tuesday afternoon, you're about to daven mincha, you come into the shul, Chafetz Chaim is sitting there, and he's not davening. He's just staring at you. He's looking at you while you're davening. How's your davening today? Ooh, better than 10 Ne'ilah and Yom Kippur together. Chafetz Chaim. What if it was the Rambam? Rambam. Rebbe Akiva coming to shul. Chafetz Chaim, Rambam, Rebbe Akiva, intimidating, inspiring. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there in the shul every single time we daven. Where should one sit in the shul? The Chayei Adam says, make sure you select for yourself a seat next to people who are Yerei Shamayim that do not speak in shul. Don't say, but this is my seat, so move. It sounds pretty bad, right? But what can you gain if you don't speak in the middle of davening? Comes Rabbeinu Chaim Palaji in his Sefer, Toichas Chaim in Parshas Tumah. Listen, it's so inspiring. If one does not speak in shul. And by the way, I checked with the poskim. I checked with the highest level poskim of our generation and previous generation. I looked in Sfarim. It seems that even though we normally are mekabel on ourselves, Kabbalos, Toivos, good resolutions, and Rosh Hashanah and Elul time, one is also allowed to be mekabel a Kabbalah Toiva now, Rosh Chodesh Kislev. I'm never speaking in the middle of davening as well. I checked with the poskim. It's allowed to be mekabel this Kabbalah even today. Yesterday, tomorrow, works. Comes the Chaim Palaji, listen to our language. One who doesn't speak in shul. Yireh zera yarich yamim, will have longevity, and he'll see his children. V'chefetz Hashem biyado yatzliach, he will be successful. V'lo yechsar lachmo, he will have parnasa. Uleachar arichus yamim, after this longevity, when his soul departs, it will depart lavetach. V'lo yirakvu atzmoisa, his bones will not degrade, decay, or rot. No, they're going to stay there. Other than the simple fact, HaKadosh Baruch Hu shomea tefillah, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu also listens to his prayer. I think it's a very good resolution. I once asked Reb Chaim Kanievsky, Zatzal, there's a Rav of a Kehila in Chutz La'aretz, who asked me to ask Reb Chaim, in his Kehila, people speak in shul. So the Gabayim asked him, maybe you can speak about it in shul. Give a shir about the severity, how important it is. He says, yeah, that's a good idea. I have a problem, a technical problem. My father also davens in this shul, and he is Rosh HaMedabrim. He's the head and leader of everybody who's speaking. How could, it's disgraceful to my father. The Torah wants you to honor your father, but the same Torah also says, be careful not to be Makle Aviv. Disgracing one's father, the Torah gives you, cursed is the person who is going to be disgraceful to my father. So his question was a technical one. When the Shulchan Aruch we quoted before says in Kuf Chav Dalet Seif Zayin, one who speaks in shul, his sin is so grave that you actually yell at him, rebuke him, and embarrass him publicly. Does that apply only in the middle of tefillah, or when I'm going to give the shir after tefillah a week later? Does it also apply? In other words, if I saw you speaking today, can I yell at you tomorrow, or only while you're in the middle of doing the Aveidah? If it's okay, so I can do this, even if my father's there. Shulchan Aruch told me I can. If it's not okay, I can't. It's disgracing my father. Go ask Reb Chaim. I did. Reb Chaim gives me such a brilliant answer. He says, tell him to go and ask his father this question. Go ask your father. Your father should give you the psak on this one. Maybe he'll understand. You won't have to go and speak in the middle of shul about this. Similarly, I asked Reb Chaim, there's a shul that appointed a special gabbai. He's called a gabbai sheket. His job is to make sure there's peace and quiet in the shul. If somebody says, no, that's his job description. You have to go to people and quiet them down. He has the same problem. His father davens in this shul, and his father doesn't stop talking. Can I be the gabbai appointed for this when I'm going to have to go to my father and keep telling him, Daddy, shh. Should he avoid being in that position? Reb Chaim said yes. Stay away from this. So Lemaisa, to summarize our question, the condition the rich guy made was valid. He can go back because by doing so he's going to say, you're allowed to start speaking shul. I think we brought heavy-duty sources, enough sources to say, not shayach. One is not allowed to speak in shul. And more than that, parnasa comes because one davens appropriately, refrains from speaking in shul, and the opposite. Parnasa can go away when one speaks in the shul. So we have heavy-duty sources for that. We don't really have a source to say that Mafti Yonah is a Segulat Parnasa. If it works for people, great, buy it. Why not? Give tzedakah to the Jew. Maybe that's the Segulat to give Parnasa, but then it's not limited to Mafti Yonah. It's whatever it is. Yehi Rotzon. That all our prayers, in Mitzvah Hashem, Yiskablu Tfurasenu LeRotzon, Lifnei Odon Koil.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.